have a good stream tonight. And this one was actually it's something that a little bit different, on my channel, but it's something that a lot of you guys have actually been requesting. And I've been excited to do for a very long time. As you guys know, recently I've been doing a lot of live streams here on YouTube, which have been getting some amazing feedback. And I had asked you guys, a little while ago, how would you guys feel if we started to, at least once a month, right? We got some guest people onto the channel as well, because you guys know my channel is primarily geared towards brand new binary options traders, just traders in general, right? Brand new forex traders, binary options traders, people that come in and either you have no experience in trading or you already have experience, but you're not getting those results that you want to get or that you expect to get for yourself. And that's where we come into play to really help you take it to the next level. And I thought I said, what better way? It's one thing to hear it from me, but I know there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of traders out there that probably don't have YouTube channels, that probably, don't really do much of a social media thing, but they still have a lot of value that they can provide to you, right? And it's been something that I think it's a great idea of what we've been doing. But tonight we have somebody on the line. And if you've been following me for a while, if you have you've watched some of my binary options videos, or if you guys remember back in 2019 when I first started trading binary options, right? Go back after this video. I want you guys to go back to the very beginning when I first started trading, and I was doing the $20 positions on YouTube, right? The $15 positions trading live, the $20 positions trading live. There was one person that I was always on their live stream. Okay, I was always on their live stream, and I was following their trades, and you guys got to see live as I was following that person's trades right here on YouTube. This is where the birth of my YouTube channel really started to take off, right? But following this person's trades live, and this person has gone to do some crazy, immaculate things since that time back in 2019. And you guys see the title of this video. There's no cap in the rap. And there's a lot of different, proofs around the internet for you guys to go ahead and check out as well. I know somebody said, I don't believe it, right? No, I'm telling you, this is the real freaking deal. But real quick, before I bring this person up, I need everybody, because I know we got a lot of people that are viewing this. There's over 97 views on this video already. And we literally just started the live stream about 3 minutes ago, right? So I need everybody here to drop a like on this video. All right, drop a like on the video so we can get some more traders on here, viewing this sauce that we're about to go over tonight, because it's definitely going to be a good one. All right. So real quick, without further ado, man, as you're dropping your likes, as you're tuning into the live stream, I want everyone to get fired up. I want everyone to get excited, and make sure you guys are paying attention. But real quick, I need y'all to drop a 777 in the chat. Somebody almost got it. You almost got it, but you didn't get it. This is the person that taught that person that you just put into the chat box, right? So drop some 777s in the chat for Mr. 777, Mr. HFX, the person that put all of us, believe it or not, put all of us onto binary options trading. My guy, Nes Vicrez, are you on the line, my brother?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, my bro?
Jeez, I can hear you, man. I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Right, let me see. Yep, there we
you
go.
Now we can see you. What's going
good,
on,
my
brother?
bro? How's everything?
Oh, man, it's going amazing. It is going amazing right now. I'm really just excited to have you on the stream. I just started doing these YouTube live streams. So, still kind of, I know you got the whole setup back there. You got the office, got like 3 cameras and all that. I'm trying to get like you one day. So trying to see exactly, what's going on with that. But, obviously we're here today, and the overall goal is to kind of put a face to the name, because I talk about you a lot on this YouTube channel. And I don't think people really be hearing it, because a lot of the times when people come to YouTube or just want to learn about trading in general, all they hear is just strategy, money. So when you tell the stories and you talk about the real stuff, a lot of people don't want to hear it. But I think that's why my channel does so good, is because I dive deep into the real stuff, the stuff that a lot of these people don't be talking about, they don't want to talk about, or whatever the case may be. And you're one of those people that, introduced me to binary options. When we fast forward now, almost 5 million views later on YouTube, and 100,000 subscribers, if it wasn't for you introducing me to binaries, I wouldn't even be here, right? And none of these viewers would be here watching this live stream right now. So I'm actually super, blessed to even have you on the stream, bro. I know we go way back, right? Like 2 flats on a Cadillac, right? But real quick, because everyone here knows my story, right? And they know what I've been through. They know how it is that I got to where I'm at. But give a brief introduction of you, because where we were at just a few years ago and what you've been able to do since that time, even with all the adversities and everything you had to go going on in your life, to get to where you're at today is truly inspiring. But it's also something that I know a lot of people here, when they really get to know you, can really feed off of that, and help them push them a little bit more in their trading journey or just entrepreneurship in general.
Yeah, so real quick, what's up, guys? Nes Velasquez, born and raised in New York, Bronx, Queens. Just so you know what I was doing before I got involved in, the internet space, the internet world, period, and how it led me to trading. I was working in TV and film industry as a production assistant. So if you don't know what that is, it's not as impressive as it sounds. Basically, I was the go-to guy in TV and film shoots, working behind the scenes, whatever the producers needed me to do, I did it. So there was no defined term of what you have to do in a job. You would just you came in, and whatever the producers needed you to do, you do. So if you needed help out the camera department, you help out the camera department. If you needed help out the audio department, you're in the audio department for the shoot. If you have to be in the production office counting receipts and keeping track of all these different expenses, then you're in the production office helping out the producers, the production coordinators, executive producers, so on and so forth. So that's what I was doing before I got involved online, period. And basically, a friend of mine who I respect, I don't know if he's probably on because I see him everywhere. Show Off NYC. He's one of my good friends, Luis Diaz. He happens to be a really good friend to Ivan Paychecks, who some of you know as $1 million earner in cryptocurrency. So he was the one that basically opened me up to the idea of making money on the internet. So I saw a presentation by Julio June Acosta, shout out to him. And it was for a company that dealt with travel. However, they did have an online component to it, and that was really my first introduction to even trying to start a business online. As a person in TV and film industry, everything was hands-on for me. I wasn't really too much, I really wasn't too tech savvy like that. The only thing that was techie was, my PlayStation 4 at the time and, my Xbox One and all that good stuff, or I don't know, Xbox 360 at the time. I don't know, man. So, so that was basically it. And once I got open to the idea of making money online, residual income, all that stuff, I joined that platform. And I started to learn a lot about how the online industry really works, and I realized that what motivates me doesn't motivate the next person. Everyone has different needs. And so after about a year into that, I got introduced to another platform, which I then started to make a full-time income in. And that eventually led me to the introduction of trading back in 2015. So from my introduction to the internet business, 2012, 3 years later, 2015, I got introduced to trading, and it started with stocks and stock options. Rico remembers that because we were running together at that time. As a matter of fact, that was the first time. Rico actually, decided to jump on board and partner with me, because we were always working, but we weren't in the same team. We were always like running parallel to each other. And so for the first time ever, we clicked up, and we really started to learn how to trade through stocks and stock options first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's crazy too, because a lot of my viewers here, when I first started this channel, I never really talked too much about what I did outside of trading and what I did outside of YouTube. But eventually we started to talk a little bit more and about the fact that it did all start with me through network marketing, right? And same thing with you. That's even how I met you, was through network marketing companies. And I know a lot of my followers and viewers are familiar with network marketing. You guys are probably in other companies as well. But that was the beginning of the journey for all of us, right? We are all in a situation where we didn't grow up with a lot of money. I'm from Harlem, New York. I know you've been around Bronx and Queens and stuff like that. So we didn't grow up with a lot of money. We didn't grow up with a good background. But we saw when we first saw network marketing, I'm sure we can probably all relate. We didn't know what in the world was going on. It just looked like our way out. Like we was like, yo, this is it.
Oh, 100%.
We're getting out the hood,
So once we started to see, like, because when you in New York, when you born and raised in New York, you grow up with a certain kind of wit, and it's a constant competition. So for example, for some of your viewers on here, if you ever met a New Yorker and you're not from New York, you probably wonder, why is this person so loud, or why is this person always talking so fast? And the reason why is because, when you're talking to someone in the street regularly, there's someone else right next to you talking to someone else. So you basically have to talk over people in order to get your message across certain places, and everyone is in a rush. So you got to get your message through quick. So that explains the loudness and the rush when it comes to the speaking, and all that good stuff, but basically it's a constant hustle. And the way how New York is designed, really it's designed for you to just depend on the city. So you don't really need a car if you could just hop on trains, right? Like you could, you got all these different, programs in place that would just keep you, you got all these programs in place that'll keep you in with the rat race.
Pretty
right?
much.
But basically, so starting off with stock options, for us, we weren't really too into it. And I can speak for Rico in regards to this as well, because what we saw was like dinosaur systems. We saw like real old school stock options and stock trading platforms. And we were like, this ain't it, bro. And especially with the kind of work that we were doing a lot of internet-based work. So people from other countries would be able to tap in. But when it came to stock options, trading US stock options, the majority of our international following wasn't going to be able to tap into that. So I sat with the CEO of that company at the time, and or one of the corporate executives, and I told her, I said, hey, look, this is not for the average person. And in order for anyone to even start with a stock options trading account with Options House, which is what they were pushing at the time, you needed at least $2,000 in an account. And with the market that we were catering to, a lot of them were really just over broke. A lot of them were New Yorkers like us. So the way how it's designed is you have a certain living wage and you have a certain cost of living. You won't be able to survive unless you have a few people, living with you and pitching in for rent. That's kind of like how it is. Now, if you're born, on the other side, and you're born in the high life of New York City, the life is completely different, for you. In New York, you either got money or you don't got money. There's like almost no middle class in New York. You either got it or you don't have it. And so the market that we was catering to was really the market that didn't have it in New York for the most part. So for us, when we were involved in some of these other companies, the price entry was really affordable. And that's what we ran with. And it laid out a game plan where people could make a residual income and really do their thing. So anyway, we're involved in this trading company now, stock options, stocks. The way they did it to us. Now I'm into stock options because I know so many other avenues of how to go about stock options. But at the time, it was older people, like 50 years old plus, trying to teach us how to trade. And it was just like, bro, like, this is driving me crazy. You guys are way too slow. These systems are loading way too long. I can't market to my international market. This is crazy. So anyway, that summer they happened to get into Forex. Now we're talking, right? Because when we did our quick research on Forex, when we were getting all excited about Forex, we realized it's a low cost of entry. So, you can literally start an account with $50 if you wanted to, and then just grow from there. So I was like, okay, the point of entry is really affordable, super, super affordable. Anyone could do it. So that alone was like, okay, boom, this is for my market that I want to raise up, right? And at the time, I was a younger entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? So there may be some people over here that it's more of high ticket sales kind of individuals, and that's great. I grew into that later on, but at this time, I want you to just bear with me here, right? So I really wanted something that was a low cost of entry and something marketable internationally, that I knew more people could actually tap into. And so here we go. The Forex wave started 2015, and we were all excited. The majority of the people that were, basically raising so much awareness on Forex back then, they didn't really know anything about Forex either. We were all learning at the same time. And so the byproduct of that we created a big Forex wave online, right? So if you heard of Forex back then, most likely it was people from our crew that popularized it to people, and then the word just started spreading in that regard. At the time in 2015, there were these Forex traders that were trying to charge you $5,000 or $10,000 for personal mentorship because the demand wasn't really there. Forex was so like, nobody knows anything about it really. So the few people that did, of course, they were taxing, they were overcharging like crazy. It was a good time for them, and I know several people that bought into, $10,000 courses, $5,000 courses for the most basic information, So as we started to really, get more engaged, started to learn more with it, we got excited about it. I know my first trade, I made $40 in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And again, young entrepreneur at the time, I'm thinking to myself, damn, I never had a job, right, that paid me $40 in 5 to 10 minutes. So if I can make $40 in 5 to 10 minutes, what could I do in 60 minutes? What could I do in 120 minutes? What could I do in 5 hours? What could I do in a full 8-hour workday, but fully focused on trading? And then my mind started to spin. Right? So although I was excited, I made a little bit of money. My team at the time, they were like, Ness, are you in this company just to sell Forex, or are you in it to really teach people how to trade? And at the time, I looked at them and I said, look, man, I'm just here to push it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make my little bit of money here, but I'm here pushing it. I'm making money. I'm making residual income pushing it. And I had a lot of people leave my team because of that. And so that was an eye opener. I was like, really? Why? And I realized what it was. People could care less about marketing something online, but they would rather put their money to work for them. So then I started to shift my mindset, and I started to feel like a loser. On top of that, I had a couple of people call me out online and say, hey, look, you're selling trading, but you don't know how to trade, blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all my focus to learning how to trade. And the next time y'all see me, I'm going to wrap circles around you when it comes to trading, because I took it personal, right? And so what ended up, it didn't happen overnight. Trading, let me tell you something, when it comes to trading Forex, and the reason why I'm mentioning Forex before I bring up binary options, because this is how it started, right? So basically, it took me months to really, click. And then I think what really did for me, I'm not sure if you remember this, Rico, when we started the pip room. Do you remember that?
Right. I remember the pip rooms.
So the entrepreneurial part of me, I put together some of the best Forex traders in our team at the time together. And I was just the facilitator, right? But in essence, because I was representing them, I was on these sessions, and unbeknownst to me, I would actually learn a lot more from teaching knowledge. So there's 4 different types of knowledges, and the most important one is teaching knowledge. Why is that? Mm-hmm. It's because when you are in a position where you're about to teach someone something, whether you realize it or not, you're going back to all the references, you're going back to all the study material, and you're relearning everything before you even give information out. And so by me doing that, by me putting myself, out there in position, I was actually learning so much more. And then I started to actually perform. So when I called out my first few profitable trades, everyone was excited for me because they knew that I wasn't a trader. I was really the entrepreneur, and I got lucky with some trades, right? So, but with the little stuff I did know, I started to stay consistent and persistent with that, and it started to work for me. Long story short, 2017, I get introduced to binary options. Now, I know for those of you that are binary options fanatics, here's where I'm gonna, here's the part that you've been waiting for, right? So anyway, one of my roommates in Miami, his name is Jonathan Lopez. He's currently a multi-million-dollar marketer right now. And so he was the one who introduced me to binary options. He goes, let me see what you're doing over there. He saw that I was scalping Forex and I was doing my thing. He goes, that's cute, but take a look at this. Look at what these people could do in a matter of seconds. So Jonathan Lopez, right? He has a lot of connections internationally. And so most of the individuals in South America, the way they were trading Forex was binary options, right? And so I was seeing what they were doing and seeing what was going on. I'm like, yo, how come everybody in the United States isn't doing this? And I realized what it was. Nobody here is doing it. Nobody here is doing it. And I'm like, what? This is crazy, right? And then I start to get excited and I started to learn how to trade binary myself. I was losing and losing some more and losing some more, and I would blow accounts, right? I sucked, right? Because even though I was really good at Forex scalping, me trying to transfer that skill into binary options with 1 minute trades, those 1 minute trades were kicking my butt, right? So I mean, I was just losing, losing, get a couple of wins, losing, get a couple of wins, right? And then I started to finally fine tune my strategy, which a lot of you know as the simple scalper strategy.
Wait. So, now before you get into the strategy stuff, right? Because I think there's a few keys there, right? There's a few keys. So number one, because we all know this, it's because I got so many people that are outside the US that follow me, and also a lot of people that are in the US that follow me. And one of the biggest issues that we had is obviously what you just said. In the beginning, nobody in the United States was trading binary options. Exactly. And that's because for a lot of people, the only option was, obviously, as we know, is Nadex, which isn't really what a lot of people see the excitement from when it comes to binaries. So it wasn't really here yet because a lot of the brokers aren't in the United States, right? That's one. Now, two, I remember back when you first started trading binaries and you literally disappeared. And I know he said it, guys, where he locked in and was just trading. This guy literally disappeared, like locked in his house, in his apartment. I had people texting me like, yo, is Ness good? And I'm like, yo, I don't know. I haven't spoke to him in a while. Like, I don't know what's going on. And everyone's hitting me up, texting me. And out of nowhere, this guy comes out, comes out of the apartment, comes out of the house, sees some sunlight, and it's like, yo, I just made my money trading binaries. And it kind of just went from there, right? But obviously you have your strategy that went on and kind of just, it not only is a fire strategy, but I think a lot of the big binary traders that even a few of them were named on this stream in the chat. I know Maddie was named and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people in the binary space, including myself, that pretty much gathered our strategies from that original simple scalper strategy, right? And that's what it was, guys. It was called the simple scalper because that's how simple it was. So we kind of all, and this is why I always tell people on my channel as well, everybody is looking for the best strategy in the world, right? And we all know that there is no best strategy. There's no best strategy that exists. That's not a thing. If it was, we'd all be trading it, right? There'd be no reason for everyone to be trading something different. We'd all be trading the best strategy. But what I always tell people is you want to find the good strategy and fine tune it and make it your own, right? It's kind of like when you have speeches and stuff like that, right? You don't want to read scripts. You want to have an outline, fine tune it and make it your own, bring your own personality to it. So I think we kind of all came from, it's like we were all birthed from the simple scalper. And then we all just went our separate ways and became our own traders, man. But yeah, I didn't want to cut you off, but I just wanted to touch on that because, a lot of people ask me like, what does it really take? Like, how do you see success? How do you see them? And the amount of success that you've been able to see in a short period of time is insane. It's almost unbelievable. If you didn't see it, it would be completely unbelievable, right? If you weren't there to witness it, it would be unbelievable what you've done in the last few years. Luckily, there is a lot of documentation on that kind of stuff, right? But and you do trade live. You do a lot of live trading and stuff like that as well. So again, the facts are there, right? So the documentation is there. But in terms of the simple scalper, brother, go ahead, take it away with the simple scalper. How did you come up with that? How did that begin? Where did it come from, and how does it work?
So it kind of reminded me of when Goku locked himself up after after his defeat by Frieza, and he was just training. He was like on some crazy stuff, right? It's kind of like the same for me, where I had to get my focus on, and focus is a power. Focus is a complete power, right? whatever you focus on expands, right? What is focus? Focus, follow one course until successful. And so if there's anything that I've learned from the internet business is basically focus is a power. So I wanted to get this right. I knew how to scalp. I was already using my simple scalper strategy as a traditional Forex trader, right? But I needed to find a way to make it work for binary. And there was a couple of things that I had to really fine tune with the strategy, right? Number one was timing. I started to study the candles, and I realized, right, that if you're on the 5, 15 minute, 1 hour, right, and you see a really good setup, with my simple scalper strategy, the Bollinger Bands, the stochastic, the RSI, even the parabolic dots, so on and so forth. When you see your four confirmations align, right? I noticed that if I was to enter a buy or if I was to enter a sell, it would usually take about 3 candles on average for the market to move in the direction I predicted the market to move to, right? And so it doesn't happen all the time because trading involves risk. As traders, we're taking calculated risk. That's just the name of the game. It is what it is. You can have the technicals and you can have the fundamentals that are, completely fully aligned, but then the market will still, mess with you, right? And that's because there's elements that we cannot control, right? We can only see what's going on in the fundamentals. We can only see what's going on in the technicals. So if there's a lot of volume just happening in one shot, right, we won't be able to do anything about it. What we could do is see what's going on and adjust, right? So I realized that with the simple scalper strategy, all I had to do is be patient. All I had to do is be patient, make sure I count my confirmations and go according to that. And since it takes an average of 3 candles before something aligns from the technical analysis side, I realized that if I have my entry, like if I'm analyzing on a 5-minute chart, on average, I should take a 15-minute binary trade and that'll clear. Now, the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute trades are very addicting. They're super addicting, right? The problem is when you have your strike price, right, in very close proximity with the expiration price, you could get spiked out. You could get spiked out, or, the market is just probably finding its balance. You know how it is when it comes to the market. So the market, all right, is usually consolidating, right, between a support and resistance point. And if it's not doing that, then it's either starting a trend up, so it's zigzagging up, or starting a trend down, which is zigzagging down, right? And so you have to identify, okay, what market are we in? If the market is consolidating, then the simple scalper strategy is the strategy that I go to, right? And so I was getting much better with that. My effectiveness was getting much better. I was being really patient. So instead of just trading at anything that looks like a setup, make sure you get all your confirmations first, right? And risk management is super key. So even though the accuracy on my entries were pretty good at the time, still the risk management had to be on point, because even if your accuracy with trade call outs absolutely sucked, but your risk management was pretty tight and you're doing 5-to-1 ratio positions, 10-to-1 ratio positions, right? You'll be surprised that even with the low accuracy, you could still be able to scale, your account. So these are some of the things that, I would keep in mind and I would be super patient with. If the market was moving faster than usual, then I'll put a time expiration that was a little faster, right? So if I have a setup on a 5-minute chart and I see that the market is moving pretty quick, then I'm all right with placing a 5-minute trade. But my range will be 5 to 15 minutes. Does that make sense? Now, if I really want to go into a 1-minute trade, 3-minute trades, then I will look at the higher time frames, because the higher the time frame, the stronger the confirmations. And I will go down, all right, on each. And if everything aligns all the way to the 1 minute, right, and I see the market is pretty much moving fast, then I'll take a 1-minute trade. I'll take a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute trade, right? I would do that, right? But basically, you have to come in and you have to basically check for a few things. Number one, what time is it in the day? I think that's a big one, Rico, because how many times do we have people say, hey, look, I was trading Euro JPY at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How does that make sense? Right? So you got to remember, right? When is the best time to trade? The best, and I say this all the time, the best time to trade is when you are in the mindset to take trades. So there's a couple of questions you need to ask yourself. Question number one, what time is it? Right now it's 7:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. First question, what time is it? 7:49. All right, 7:50 now. Okay. The next question is, what session is it? So this is one of those overlap periods where it's Sydney and Tokyo session at the exact same time. So the second question is, what session is it? So what time is it is the first question. What session is it? Second question. Third question is, what currencies are most volatile in this time? So obviously, this is Tokyo / Sydney session, Australian dollar, right? New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Okay. And if you're into exotics, then, China won and, some of the others. So these are the currencies that is volatile at this time. And that is because on that side of the world, right, businesses are operating, right, are beginning their day, are starting off their day. So now there's a lot of money flowing into the economy. More money, right? More money. Okay. Not as much before the typical 9 to 5 hours. There's some people that work a little bit before that. Some people that roam the streets and get, buy stuff here and there. So there's a little bit of money in the economy, but it's not volatile. Once those times hit, where it's the beginning of the workday, there is a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. People are buying, people are, a lot of money's being moved in those economies in that time, right? So if you're going to trade Euro JPY, then a good session to trade that in would be Tokyo session, okay, and also London session. If you're smack in the middle of the New York session, it doesn't really make sense to trade Euro JPY. So you have to acknowledge, okay, what time is it? All right, what session is it? What currencies are volatile in this time? Okay, look at the fundamentals. Check for news updates first, because you could be in the middle of a trade and a news update will impact the currency and it'll take you out of a trade, right? So make sure you are aware of what's going on. What time is it? Okay. What are the conditions of the market? Do you see a lot of trends? Do you see consolidation in the currency pairs that you're looking at? All right. And just, make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's before you even take a trade. And when you do take a trade, it's best to be very picky with your entries. So if you see this is a previous high, or if you see this is a previous low, right? You got to think smart. You got to think smart. The idea is to buy at the lowest possible point and to sell at the highest possible point. If you combine all these elements together, you're going to start increasing the effectiveness of your trades. And when it comes to binary options, utilize the 3 candle rule. If you see a setup on a 5-minute chart, take that 15-minute trade. I know you're dying to take that 1-minute trade. I know you're dying to take that 3-minute trade. But most of my students that allow themselves to get really addicted to that is really just gambling, because you're going to have big wins followed by big losses. There's no point of that. The idea is to minimize losses while maximizing potential gains. So a lot of it is psychology, believe it or not.
You know what's so crazy? I want you guys to really pay attention to the similarities of literally, it's almost like I'm speaking right now. You guys are listening to him. It's literally the same exact stuff that I go over here on this channel. And you know what's wild is, again, this is the stuff that people need. Like, you need this stuff to really understand trading, to really get good, especially at binaries, right? But to really get good at this, you need this kind of stuff. This is the stuff that most people don't teach. If you search up binary options on YouTube, what are you going to find? Best 5-minute strategy, best 1-minute strategy. I turn 500 to 5,000 in 6 minutes and all this hype stuff, right? And this is what people come in and they get excited when they see, oh my God, I can make all this money. But people don't talk about what it's really going to take. They don't talk about having the mentality. They don't talk about what times. Yo, guys, drop some sevens real quick in the chat real quick. How much do I stress the importance of the time that you get on the charts, right? Like, I talk about it all the time. It has to be a part of your trading plan. You have to know what times you get on the charts, because you could be trading a currency pair. It could be a great strategy, but horrible for that specific time, because maybe the markets are moving in a specific way at that time every single day. We know the market's moving patterns, and the patterns happen again and again and again. So I always tell people, if you just want to get good at it, if you want to get consistent when getting on at the same time. Because if the pattern's going to happen again, it would make sense that if you got on at that time again, the markets are going to do that or something similar. And this is where you can make all your money. Right. So, it's so crazy. I've had the privilege, and I know a lot of people here know my story here on YouTube, everything I went through, the Uber and stuff like that. What a lot of people don't know is that while I was on my downs, and this is rare, especially in our industry, there's so much ego, there's so much cap, there's so much people that, make a lot of money, but they ain't willing to really go out there and share it and do what they, take care of their people, at the end of the day. And, one thing I can say is that I was there with you a lot of the times, doing these live sessions and stuff like that. And one of the things I want to talk about here, number one is how real you are, right? Because there's not a lot of people like that in the industry. But guys, when I was down and I needed money and I was behind on rent and everything like that, Ness didn't have to, because he could have hired a professional. He could have did any of this stuff. He used to hire me. He used to pay me to edit and record his videos just so I can have a little extra money in my pocket, right? And the reason why I'm tossing this out there, guys, because I want to show you guys, a few things, here. Let me pull this up. We're going to pull up Ness's Facebook real quick. All right. We're not going to get too much into his, into his personal life, right? But pulling up his Facebook, guys, this is crazy. This is him, by the way. If you want to follow him, you guys can go follow him on social media. Obviously, all of his accounts are verified, by the way, so don't get scammed. All right. Don't go out there and follow the wrong Ness. But this is Ness's, Facebook. And on his Facebook, you can go, to his videos, to his pictures and stuff like that. But I remember back when we first started really trading, and Ness, obviously, he made his first million way before I even started trading binary options. He already made $1 million. And I remember, man, I was just going through it, doing, whatever. But I remember the day when I first started trading binaries. We went to Ness's house, and Ness, he gave me no choice. He said, you guys are not leaving tonight until you put $250 in an account, right? And get on this binary wave, right? That's how it started for me. But I remember back when, we used to travel together and go all around, right? All around the world, visiting different places, doing different events and stuff like that. And the reason why this is so relevant to what it is that we're talking about here is because to do what he's done in such a short period of time, I want you guys to understand what it took to actually get there and to make that happen. Ness would literally travel from state to state, from country to country, and do these live trading sessions in front of large groups of people, right? So these are some of his videos, right? I went to Puerto Rico with him, right? We were all around New Jersey, Puerto Rico, whatever. We was outside, right? And he has all these videos up here, but this is him live trading in front of dozens, sometimes even hundreds of people. So when you talk about the real being the real, I know a lot of the times you get on the social media and it's hard to tell who's real and who's not. This guy literally has videos of him making money and trading live in front of people. And this is what he used to do. And this is really how binaries blew up to get to the point in which it got to today, is because it wasn't just Ness flexing on Instagram like most people do. It wasn't him just flexing on YouTube, showing off Lamborghinis, showing off cars and stuff like that and all this stuff. Did he light flex here and there? Of course. When you got it, you show it, right? But his videos and his content wasn't about that. He kept it real from the very beginning. And I think that's something that this industry lacks, is someone that keeps it real, right? Someone that can still hang out with their family, still posting and enjoying life with their family, right? You guys know I'm really big on family and stuff like that. But to be able to go around and travel around with different groups of people, I mean, this is a live trading session that he did. Again, this is on his Facebook too, but live trading session, man, where he is literally in Jamaica with a group of people in Jamaica. Obviously, they're from Jamaica, right? So he had a team of people in Jamaica that were all learning how to trade from him, right? And he's in Jamaica running it up on a session, about to clear some trades, right? And literally trading with people there with him in person, and also trading on live streams as people are watching at the same time. So when we say there's no cap in the rap, right? I'm telling you guys, there's absolutely no cap in the rap at all when it comes to what it is that Ness has been able to do, in this industry, in this profession. And this is really why binaries blew up the way that it did. I mentioned it before, but when binaries first started to blow up, people were calling it HFX. Like, you had companies that were calling it HFX trading, HFX trading, HFX this, HFX that. And people didn't even know that HFX wasn't the name of binary options.
Right.
Like everyone was like, I'm an HFX trader. And they didn't even know that was just the package that Ness came up with to obviously, for his academy was the HFX Academy, high frequency academy, or high frequency Forex. But it had nothing to do with binary options itself. And it's so crazy how just that alone, people calling it HFX, it shows you the impact that we had. But to go around, it's not a US thing. It was around the world. Like he said, South America, Europe, United States, Canada, people from all over were trading with Ness. And there's one moment that I want to touch on while we're on the stream. And I was going crazy trying to find this video and I could not find it. But I finally found it, literally as Ness was talking just now. Because I remembered he had posted a little bit of it. So it's probably not the best quality. But the actual video, I'm sure we can find it. If we do, I'll post the actual video in the Rockstar FX Telegram. So if you guys are not in the Telegram, go down to the description right now and just go join the Telegram. Or after this live stream, go join the Telegram. We'll post the actual video if we get to find it. But, I want to show this right here because this right here is and it would be an absolute life-changing moment for anybody, right? And this is the moment that, Ness, that you hit $1 million on live stream, not only on live stream, but at a live event, right? And we're gonna watch this real quick. And then after that, we're gonna, I'm gonna let you speak on this, a little bit more. But I think this is something that is so fire, knowing, the background, knowing where we came from, and everything like that. And this is not through, academies. This is not through marketing. This is literally you trading because you used to live stream your trade account. Every time you would trade, your trade account was live streamed, and we would see those profits go up almost every single stream. Did you take losses? Of course, everyone takes losses, but within, what was it, 13 months, right? If I'm not mistaken, 13 months, you took a $500 account to over $1 million, and this is the video right here. So let's go ahead, let's play this.
Go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's turn on the light. Let's turn on the light.
Oh man!
All right, let's see what we got going on. This is intense. This is intense. Let's go.
Can someone put their flashlight on me? And
There we go. We're good. We're good. We're good. Let's go. Let's go. It was meant to happen. It was meant to happen.
looks like it's going up. Looks like it might be an L. It's a part of the game. But look at this number on the upper right hand side. If it does clear in profit, this might be an L. If it's an L,
Come on.
what?
Let's go.
The suspense, the anticipation.
Let's go. Let's go. Are we in profit? Let's go! Yeah! Woo! Let's go!
First $1 million trading account right there.
My man just became a millionaire! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! My brother! You fucking deserve it! You deserve it! Ness, I'm educated. Ness Viquez officially just became a 7-figure earner live in New York City in front of the homeroom. Everybody make some noise for Ness!
Let's go, let's go. I mean, you can feel the emotion through the video, right? I haven't watched that video in a while, to be honest, but just to see your reaction, obviously, again, you're trading live in front of a group of people. You're also, zooming and live streaming to people that are watching from all over the world. But again, no cap in the rap. This is your live account. And I remember when this happened in the beginning of 2019, right? We were watching this online. I wasn't there, but I love how you took it back home because you've done a lot of traveling. You traveled all over the world. You took it back home to New York to hit that $1 million mark, man. So tell us a little about that, man. Tell us the emotions, the feelings, like what was going through your head at that point?
It was interesting because it was so let's talk about a little bit before that point, right? Where we were talking about things to look for in when it comes to checking out the charts, because this is what led to that movement, right? And what ended up happening for me was I realized that I would win my trades a lot more with USD JPY. everyone has a currency pair that they happen to win more with. So what I realized is that if I just double down on a currency pair that I'm much more familiar with, right, I'm going to focus in on that. And one of the things that inspired me to do that was the fact that we had an Airbnb sometime in 2018, and the person who owned that Airbnb, that place is a big mansion, and the person who owned that Airbnb, all he did was trade oil, according to my boy Manny at the time. So I was like, wait a second. So that person only focused on one thing and made a fortune with that. And Manny was like, yeah, this person only trades oil. So I took that as inspiration. And I was like, well, when it comes to trading binary, I happen to win a lot more with USD JPY. So I'm just going to stick to this as my currency pair, USD JPY. So the dollar and the yen to be traded New York session and Tokyo session. And that's why I focused on those sessions, mostly Tokyo session. And so when I started to really double down, right, and align myself with all the confirmations that I put for myself, really get my confirmations with my strategy and stood consistent with just that, right, I started to win a lot more. And then that created a compounding effect. September 2018, I crossed my first 6 figures in an account. After withdrawals, first 6 figures in an account. After withdrawals is September 2018. January 20 something, and January 20 something, forget which day, right? That account goes from 100,000 during the course of those months where I'm really focusing in, trading live in front of everyone. On top of that, you know, on the IM Academy at the time. Once that January event happened, which you just saw, I actually had just landed from Salt Lake City. That meeting was supposed to happen an hour ago. I was actually late. I was an hour late, and I was pissed because when I got there, I'm like, damn, yo, it's an hour later. But then my boy Manny says, yo, the room is double booked. We're about to all get into this room now. As soon as I got there, I was like, oh, snap. All right, so I came on time. All right, I'm good. And I was literally only $7,000 away from crossing the 7-figure mark. So what you saw in that moment, I took a $10,000 position. And if I was going to lose that position, I would have lost in front of 50 plus people. I would have lost 10 grand in front of 50 plus people. I would have looked like a dick, to be honest. Oh, wait, this is YouTube, right? So I can't really, sorry.
You're good, brother. You're good.
Okay. Just, you know, want to make sure you're good. So anyway, so I'm like, damn, you know, am I going to lose 10 grand in front of these people? Right. And the trade was losing. You know how most people get spiked out of a trade? Well, for some odd reason, this trade spiked me in. Now, my confirmation, everything was aligned, but it was just like kind of going the other way. And I'm like, damn, this thing is floating away. But right in the last second, it just spiked in. And I won that $10,000 trade. Right. But a pure profit was $7,000 on that. So when that happened, I actually fully became a 7-figure trader in that moment. And that's a moment that every time I see the video, I remember that whole day, taking that long flight from Salt Lake City, New York, getting there, you know, really preparing HFX in Salt Lake City with the programmer at that time, right before, you know, high frequency Forex was what Jason decided to call it, you know, because we didn't want to call it binary options pack. We wanted to call it high frequency Forex, because essentially when we're trading binary options, we're trading Forex with time expirations. That's basically what we're doing, right? Whatever you could trade on binary, you could trade in a traditional Forex broker. So it's trading Forex with time expirations. And so just that, it created shockwaves. Even the month before, when my account had crossed, it had crossed 500,000 on December 21st, 2018. And then it got to 700,000 in December 31st, 2018. So it was stupid. The compounding effect was so crazy, right, in that time. And I was taking big trades. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was over leveraging too, you know, because if I saw something and I had like 10 confirmations on it, man, I'm like, yo, I'm willing to take this risk. So I upped the ante like crazy. So, yeah, in some moments I did over leverage, but, as long as my confirmations were there, I was willing to take those calculated risks. And basically, January 20 something, we crossed it. Manny was able to get it officially approved by the compliance department, acknowledge me as the first $1 million earner binary trader in the company. And it was huge because, again, no one in the US is really doing it. Do you remember that day in my Jersey apartment, Rico, where everyone was just there and they were just like watching?
Yeah.
Like it was so new that everyone was crazy to find out how could they learn about it. I had 50 people in my Jersey apartment at the time, and it was crazy, man. It was a different time to be alive, and I didn't get that feeling in a long time. The feeling that I had in that moment was probably Wake Up Now in 2013, where I was jam-packing an apartment. You can feel the energy there, and everyone like has this hope, like, yo, we all about to make it out the hood. That was exactly like that moment. And it definitely did. It catapulted me out of the hood, and I moved to Florida, and no more paying a lot of money for tight spaces. I got all the space I need now. I'm good now. This is my office here in Orlando. In the next room, I have my music studio. I have my artists. They go there, do their thing. My engineers, they do their thing, man. And that's what I do. I provide opportunity for people. That's what I love doing. So trading allowed me to generate the capital I needed to invest in different plays and to also, just do good to the community, do good to the people around me. And that's basically that. So this is deeper than trading, right? I know a lot of you are looking at this. You want to know all the technicals, and that's fine. We could break that all down. I'm gonna be honest. You already know the technicals. You already know most of the technicals.
Yep.
You already know buy low, sell high. Support and resistance. Breakouts. When the trend happens, right? If you're in the middle of an uptrend, the idea is to buy at the low points on the way up. If you're in the middle of a downtrend, the idea is to buy at the high points at the way down. Right? Supply and demand. You guys already know this. You know this. All you have to do is really get your focus on. Don't get caught up in all the details, right? Just go in there. They say that 99% of people fail trading Forex. Well, that's because 99 people out of 100 give up after the third blown account. All you have to do is keep going, and eventually you'll get to that 1% club, and that will help you actually earn 1% kind of money, right? It's a game of survival. Ladies and gents, when it comes to success, it's all a game of survival, right? I mean, not as gruesome as Squid Games, but it's all a game of survival, right? Even before we got here on this earth, even look, we beat 1 million other sperm cells to be here. Okay, it's all a competition. It's all a process of elimination, right? There's a risk in everything. You just have to be the one to be persistent enough and consistent enough to see it through. Wealth creation is a consistent journey. All right. It's a journey of consistency. Okay. Success is not a final destination. Success is a journey, not a destination. All right. It ain't, hey, look, I'm successful now. Happily ever after. No, there's ups and downs even after that. So you have to learn to survive your way through, because either way, you're either going to suffer from the pain of discipline or the pain from regret. There's so many people that are so talented that if they only focused on the right things, they could grow immensely. I believe everyone is capable. I believe anyone can do it, but everybody won't do it. Trading is not for everyone. I see trading like sports. This is like a sport, man. Let's score these buckets. And if I fail, if I lose the playoffs, if I lose the championships, if I lose the exhibition game, I'm coming right back. Mamba mentality.
That's it. Sheesh. It's so wild, like, to just, and I know a lot of people here, because even on my channel, binary options is still fairly new to a lot of people. And we're not sitting here saying, listen, we're not sitting here saying binary options is the best style of trading in the world, right? Like, we're not like, hey, everyone come trade binary options, but we can speak for ourselves in saying that binary options changed the game for us. And trading for as long as we've traded, the biggest thing that I can say, and I know Nessa's been saying it as well, and you guys have heard it on my channel over and over and over again. A lot of the things that you guys are looking for to take your trading to the next level, you already have. You already have. Like literally, the strategies, the basics, even when it comes to support and resistance. I know a lot of people are confused. Like when it comes to support and resistance, you know it. You're just hitting the charts. And when you lose a trade, you're questioning yourself. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me go back and change something up or find a new strategy or, find a different technique. And in all reality, if you just stay consistent and doing what it is that you're doing, you would make so much. Your life would absolutely change. Even if you don't make the millions, you would make more than what you're making right now, right? You'd be enough to quit your job.
Oh, yeah. I agree. So another thing that was on my mind the entire time in this journey is simply this, right? Most people are going to start off making $10, $20, $30 a day. Mm-hmm. But if you can make any kind of profit in a day, it's still a profit. Okay? So check this out. If you can make a $10 trade, eventually you can make a $30 trade. Eventually you can make a $50 trade, a $100 trade. It's going to start at the small levels. Now here we go. Here's the math, okay? If you make $100 a day trading, that's $36,500 a year. That's a full-time income, okay? If you make $200 a day, all right, you can do the math. That's $72,000, $73,000 a year. Think with me, guys. All you have to do is be consistent. Mm-hmm. If you can make $300 a day, or scratch that, $275 a day, right, for 365 days, that's 6 figures. And eventually, if you could do that, you stay persistent enough, really be an OG in this and make this a 5-year, 10-year, actually make it a 10-year commitment, right? Eventually, you'll start scoring 4-figure days.
Yep. I think that's the biggest problem, not to cut you off. I think that's the biggest problem is that people come in and they want to have the 4-figure days in their first few months.
Yeah.
They don't even make that in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at their job, but they want to do it here in a day.
Right. So look, there's 2 ways to go about this, right? Either you put up more money so you can take these trades so you can have those 4-figure days, right? Or put in the sweat. Mm-hmm. So you could either put in the sweat equity, right? Or put up more capital. And because you got to think in terms of percentages. So like if you want to make 5% a day with a $500 account, that's $25. But at $5,000, that's $250 a day. At $50,000, that's $2,500 a day. So we overestimate what we could do in 30 days, but we underestimate what we could do in 3 years. What? The power of compounding could possibly take you to a level you never thought you would reach. Mm-hmm. Right? And we have to be careful when it comes to, trading or whatever for disclaimer purposes, because trading involves risk. But nevertheless, the possibilities are there. Once you get to the point where you out-survived 99% of people that just come in and like, oh, no, I ain't doing this. 3rd time's a charm. I'm out of here. I blew like 15 accounts. Mm-hmm. There's some people that really have that belief. Oh, man, I'm going to try this one time. If it don't work out, then whatever. Right? One blown account, they're gone. Never to be seen again. Or they say, you know what? Man, this was a hard hit. Let me get back on this. Let me fund this account again. See what happens. 2nd account blown. Oh, man, nah. First time, first mistake. All right. Shame on them. 2nd mistake, shame on me. Right. So that's the 2-hitter quitter mentality. Right. Mm-hmm. And then you got the 3rd time's the charm mentality. Oh, this is the 3rd time it happened. That's it. I'm out of here forever. Right. So 99% of the people bounce by the third blown account. They bounce by the 3rd blown account. All you got to do is out survive everyone else. Right. And this is why it's important. Now I'm gonna talk to you like more in advance. We'll wrap this up, whatever, we'll be quick. However pace you want to go, Rico. I'm following your lead, brother. So anyway, here's the deal, yo. Here's the deal. I think it's important for you to have a stable income while you're trading part-time. That's extremely important, because if you're putting your house on a trade, if you're putting your car on a trade, if you're putting your livelihood on a trade, right, or on your trading journey, then you're definitely doing it wrong. Don't do it out of desperation, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Matter of fact, you're going to be pissed off at the world, and you might end up doing something you're going to regret by doing stuff out of desperation, okay? Like putting your house on a trade and losing it. You don't want to do that, right? So what you have to make sure of is that you have a stable income coming in, right? And you are contributing a portion of what you make, a small portion, something that doesn't hurt you, and dedicating that into your account. Even people that trade old school stocks understand this formula. They just basically, hey, look, I get paid $500 every week for my job, 600, 700, 1,000 a week, for my job or whatever. Let me put 10% of whatever I make into my account. And now that will actually help with the compounding growth of your account. Before you know it, the kind of money that you could be seeing is something you probably didn't think that you would be seeing, to be honest with you. So everything is a strategy. Everything is a strategy, right? And I think I named a lot of the basic points. You want to minimize loss as much as possible, maximize gains as much as possible. Make sure you get all of your confirmations aligned. Be patient with it, all right? Be timely with your binary option trades. Be realistic, all right? If you want to do 1 minute trades, look at the higher time frames first and then go down in the 1 minute and base your positions on the 1 minute if you want to do it like that, right? But understand, what time is it? What session is it? What are the most volatile currencies in that session? Okay. In addition, risk management. How much are you willing to risk? If you only want to risk, let's say you got a small account, you want to risk 5%, but you want to take 5 trades, then make sure that you're risking 1% each trade. Okay. So it really is about risk management. All right. And staying within your parameters. If you make your goal, that's it. Close the laptop, call it a day. You're done. Put the phone away. Don't even look at it. You see, in the beginning, I was on these charts like 10 hours a day. But now today, bro, all I need is 30 minutes to an hour on a chart. That's it. I don't want to look at the chart anymore. I just want to look at the chart, do what I got to do, get the F out. That's it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Trust me. Keep it simple. Right? Take your emotions out of your trading results. It's going to be hard to do because everyone is emotionally attached to money. But after a while, after you lose so many damn times, look, I blew 15 accounts. Now it's just like, okay, cool, that didn't work out. Next. Now I'm like a robot. Oh, didn't work. Next. But before I would lose a trade, I'd be like, oh my God, no. And I had to wait the next week so I could fund my account again and do the whole thing again. But look, with every L that I took, I learned a very valuable lesson. So I knew what to avoid next time. But even if I didn't avoid it and I was still, being super risky, I relearned that lesson right away, So look, in the beginning, you're going to be like, oh my God, I lost, whatever, right? But after a while, you kind of like become a robot. That didn't work. This trade worked. This trade worked. This trade worked. I took an L there. Next. Because your risk management is on point. So once you take the emotions out of the trading outcome, you'll start to be an effective trader. Point blank, period. Because emotions do get the best of us when it comes to investing and even in business. If you're super emotional in business, no one's going to work with you. Right? So like imagine a boss, right? Imagine you're a boss, right? And I'm one of your employees. I come into work, right? And I come into work late. I piss you off, right? And you're like, you're late. I say, oh, I'm sorry, this is what happened, whatever, I'll do better next time, right? And then the next time I see you, you're giving me attitude because now you're taking it personal or whatever. And I'm like, what did I do? Is that going to make me want to stay in that business environment? Everybody is not an op. Everyone who pisses you off is not an op. Like, you need emotional intelligence. So it's just like, if something is really not a big deal, don't make it a big deal, because emotions is a turnoff in the workplace. Emotions is also a turnoff when it comes to trading. It just doesn't work. Emotions don't work when it comes to trading. Facts don't care about your feelings. Numbers don't care about your feelings. The market don't care about your feelings.
That you know, so crazy too. You talk about like blowing the accounts, and you're being able to blow multiple accounts. I think that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people, they won't even, like you said, eventually you become a robot. You know, you've lost so much money that eventually it's like, it's just another day in the markets. You know, we're here again, we're trading, and hopefully we win, right? And you know, I always tell everybody that watches me, I always tell them, like, trading is a huge portion of trading is emotions and what goes on right here mentally, right? Psychologically. And the problem is that most people don't give it enough time to become, and I know it sounds bad, but most people don't give it enough time to become that robot. They're still so emotionally attached to the outcome. They're so emotionally attached to every trade. They're so emotionally attached to blowing the account that when it happens, they're just so like discouraged and demotivating, and maybe it's not for me. But you gotta understand, like, we've all blown. I was behind on rent, still blowing accounts. Okay, don't be me.
I know
okay?
how that
Don't be
felt.
me.
Yeah.
But I was behind, man. I'm telling you, like, we've all gone through it. But that's the thing, is that we've gone through it. We didn't stop. We didn't let it push us back. We didn't let us, you know, stay stagnant. We went through it, and we kept going through it, and we kept going through it, and we kept going through it. And that's obviously, you know, how we got to where it is today, right? Real quick, what we're gonna do is, guys, I see you guys loading up the chat with some questions right now. We're gonna do a Q&A really quick. If you guys have any questions for Ness, okay, don't ask, you know, any weird questions and stuff like that. But any questions for Ness, this is honestly, you know, your chance to really tap in with them. You know, again, guys made multiple 7 figures, you know, trading binaries, and this is someone that's done it live in front of people. We're not just saying it. We don't have signal groups and stuff like that. He's done it live in front of people all around the world. All right, these live trading sessions, clearing 5-figure trades, right? So anything that you guys want to ask him about binaries, about trading, about life in general, we'll go ahead. We'll take some questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up, because Ness, I know you're a busy guy. You know, you've already spent about an hour here with us, and I appreciate it. Hopefully everyone here appreciates it as well. If you guys did, make sure y'all like the video, show some love, right? Continue to like it up, especially if you're watching the replay. Like and subscribe, guys. But let's get to some questions before we wrap it up to the end. All right. So real quick, a lot of people want to know. Okay, there's a few people here. What broker? All right, and I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but what broker do you personally use? A lot of people know I personally use like Pocket and stuff like that, and we're looking into some other ones and stuff, but they want to know, what broker are you using?
Yeah, currently right now, I do use Pocket Op. But lately I've been kind of like, you know, I don't really like the OTC. I don't really like the OTC trading assets, because I can't really rely on my trading view to actually do a proper analysis. And for those that don't know, OTC is over the counter trading. So a lot of brokers, they have OTC versions of currency pairs, but it's basically within the broker itself. It's like playing a big game of tug of war. And so I don't really like that. I like to actually look at the chart. So even though Pocket Op does offer everything, I sometimes, you know, go from Pocket Op to Pip6. Right now I'm using pip6.com. I find it to be real clean. I'm still testing out using it. I like it so far. So pip6.com. I find a lot more trading assets that are non-OTC on it, which is something that I'm comfortable with. But, you know, hey, look, you know, people are making a killing on Pocket Op, and people are making a killing on Pip6. So it all depends on your reference. But I think for me to give you a really effective answer right now, I would say this, right? Check with what brokers are regulated in your area, right? And do your due diligence, because at the end of the day, if you stick with brokers that are regulated in your area, they're regulated to protect you as the consumer. For a lot of us in the United States, we do have regulated brokers, regulated binary broker. We got Nadex, for example. I think that's the only one in the US, but most people don't really find the interface of Nadex to be appealing. The UI isn't really, really like all that. So people actually go and take chances with other brokers outside the US. But keep in mind that if you are, trading with brokers outside of the US, they abide by a different set of rules. So if they think that you are a robot or whatever the case may be, they can shut down your account and say, look, here's the money back you initially invested. Peace out. And you'll be pissed off. I've had people come to me say, hey, look, this broker did this to me, this broker did that to me, so on and so forth. And it's really nothing you could really do because they're not regulating your area. They don't have to follow your rules. And the reason why they could actually still have a website that's functional for US-based clients is because from a consumer standpoint, they give refunds. So if they give you your initial investment back, technically they give you a refund as a consumer, and that keeps them alive. So that's basically the loophole that they use to survive. And this is just for me observing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And then that's absolute facts, and everyone has their own, thoughts and opinions on, the different brokers and stuff like that. It really is at the end of the day, you doing your own research and making a decision on for yourself. There are people, especially here in the US, that they only trade Nadex. But to sit here and say that if you're not trading Nadex, you're not making withdrawals, that doesn't make sense, obviously, because a lot of us don't trade Nadex. All right. So we could throw that out the window right away. I know somebody in the chat saying that, but if you have to really look at, and I get these messages all the time online, from people that do no research on a broker whatsoever and end up getting scammed, right? Because the broker that they sign up to is not even a broker. It's just someone that hit them up on Instagram or something like that and like, hey, I got this broker, I can flip all your money, right? And stuff like that, obviously, and unfortunately, gives our industry a very bad name, right? Binary options in general. Then you also have the brokers that, do have the withdrawal problems. But I've gone over this and I've actually debunked this on my channel multiple times. There are some sketchy brokers out there, but a lot of the times your withdrawal issues are not really with the broker and just you not reading the terms and conditions of that broker. And that's the absolute truth. And we go over that on multiple videos here on my channel, whether it's you taking the bonus and not hitting the required turnover, or doing what you're supposed to do, whether it's you doubling up or rolling over too much and abusing certain features, that's on you. But there are terms and conditions to a lot of those brokers that if you just did a little bit of reading, you wouldn't have as many problems. I can tell you I have not had a withdrawal problem, and I don't trade mostly on regulated brokers. And I don't have any withdrawal problems whatsoever. Right. Now I know he also mentioned Pip. We have a lot of people on the channel that actually asked me about that as well. I told them I was looking into it. So maybe in the future we'll have some more information, on that platform, Pip 6, here, for you guys on the channel, and doing that. But let's get to some more questions. All right. Some more questions. So somebody actually asked, okay. Boom. So somebody said, how do you get started tonight, right? How do you get started tonight in binary options? I've been doing Forex challenges, but I really feel like I'm meant for binary options, from my understanding, from what True Freedom is providing, right? So
it's funny. True Freedom. I'm kind of glad you took the name because like when I started the movement in 2013, it was called True Freedom.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And it was funny, man. But ideally the heart of it was to help everyone get to true freedom as much as possible. And the only way you can really have true freedom is if you have time freedom and if you have financial freedom. So I love what you're doing, Rico. I definitely need some merch on that. So, send that over to me. But how you get started, real simple, depending on what broker you want to use. Just fund that live account. Okay. Fund that live account. and learn a strategy from Rico. Learn one of his strategies. He'll give you a reference to a video of one of the strategies and just practice that strategy. I would say start practicing with $1 trades. So that way you're not risking, a lot of capital, to test your trades. But you definitely want to get to a point where you're winning more than losing. Because it's like riding a bike. Like, we could show you videos on how to ride a bike. We could give you an instruction manual as to how to ride a bike. You can watch me in person. I'm like, yo, look at me, no hands, But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to ride a bike and you try to get on one, you're probably gonna get your scrapes, get your bruises until you eventually find your balance. So my challenge to you is to plug in, learn the strategy from Rico, from Rockstar FX, find your balance with that strategy, right? So the strategy I taught everyone is the simple scalper strategy. I taught, really for amazing people. I taught Millie Mills, simple scalper. She blew up with that. Matty Pips, simple scalper, boom. He blew up with that, remixed it, turned it to the cash trap, and boom, that was history. Other people have other usages for it. Some people just add more indicators. Some people replaced one indicator with another one. So when I taught the simple scalper, it created a whole wave. And when people found the balance with that strategy, they were able to add their own little spice to it, and they were able to take it to another level in their own right. So shout out to all of them. But yeah, like literally, I could go about the name dropping. We could talk about figures. We could talk about the numbers. I'm not really big on talking about the numbers, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not good for nobody, right? Nobody needs to know what I made. I'm not trying to be followed. You know what I'm saying? No one needs to know my personal business like that. So even though I've asked people not to post up videos online or whatever, they did it anyway. So there's no respect, you know what I'm saying? There's no respect whatsoever. But I will say this, the idea, right, is to trade, okay, stack up capital, invest in assets, and have stuff set for your children's children. I believe in Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And in the Bible, it says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So whether you believe in it or not, it's cool. But this is one of the things that move my heart, where it's like, leave an inheritance for your children's children. I think everyone could really F with that, philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Right. Leave an inheritance for your children's children, even if you don't believe in heaven or whatever. At least you did something good on earth for your bloodline. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I guess I became obsessed with success because, my mom, she had me at 14 years old, teen mom in the Bronx growing up in the 80s. That was her. You know what I'm saying? She was 14 years old when she had me. I was born in the middle of the 80s. And so it was a different time. My father, before I was even born, was out of the picture. So my whole life I grew up, with some extra help. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like welfare, Medicaid, all that stuff. But I think the biggest help I've had was my grandmother. My grandmother, who's, she's still, kicking around. She's still doing her thing. You know what I mean? She's still dance salsa whenever I come and visit her. Like, yo, well, what's up? Put on some music, bust out some salsa moves with my grandma. She's still young at heart. But she's the one who's really my savior. Because my mom was young, she was just trying to figure it all out. And I don't judge her. I used to. I was very rebellious. I blamed her for a lot of things. I blamed her for me not having a father around, and I made her really sad, all that stuff. But as I became a man, I realized I should be thankful. My mom could have aborted me, but she gave me a chance at life. She sacrificed her young years to raise me and my siblings. So because of that, my mom ever needs me, I'm always there. I have a really tight relationship with my mom, You know, I'll be doing stupid stuff, man. I'll be seeing her, like, yo, what's good, mom? What's good, baby? What you up to? Grab her like a little homie. It's funny, man. I have a good relationship with my mom, and I have a very playful relationship with my family, because relationships are everything. So even though a lot of the people, outside in the hood and myself, I was fatherless. I was rich with love. So even though we grew up how we grew up, South Bronx, Jamaica, Queens, even though we grew up how we grew up, and you already know how that goes. If you could, if you know, if you can read between the lines, so
Right.
Basically I was rich with love in the household. I was raised with cousins, my siblings, no male presence in the house, really, you know what I'm saying? But we had each other. So it was lit on those Super Smash Brother nights. You know what I'm saying? It was lit. It was lit. So
Right.
look, man, I just I at the end of the day, we got to be grateful for what we got. Whatever we didn't have, we can't cry about it no more. We can't cry about spilled milk. Yeah, we all grew up with trauma. We all grew up with different stuff. Some of you I don't know. I was in the military. I've been through some stuff myself. Rico knows a lot of personal stuff. I had near-death experiences. I had several incidences where I had to defend myself to save my own life. I got stabbed before, like for no good reason at all. I got, this is just the way it is growing up in the hood. But of course, like when you're talking to someone that's not from where we're from, they're not gonna understand that. They're gonna look at it like, yo, you rough around the edges, like,
Right.
you're a little rough. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, I'm a big playful guy. You know what I'm saying? I just I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the chances that God gives us every single day. And if it wasn't for me being open-minded, because in the hood, everyone is closed-minded, especially in New York. The fact that I was open-minded to get my journey started in that business, which led to trading. Everybody and their mother said none of this is gonna work. When I said I was gonna do some of the stuff I was gonna do, nobody believed me. I was the black sheep of my family, and now I'm the fucking GOAT. That's all.
Sheesh. Let's get it. And by the way, when he said, Ness is a big guy, by the way. Ness is like over 6 foot tall, big dude. If you can't see on the camera, I know the camera only shows like here. Right, Ness is definitely a big guy. So I just pictured him going up to his mom and like, "What's up, mom?" and picking her up and everything. Right. But yeah, man. So definitely appreciate it. So I'm gonna take 2 more questions. All right, 2 more questions. And then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up with final thoughts from my guy Ness and see if he got anything else to drop for you guys. But real quick, so somebody wanted to know, and I think this is actually a very good one because this is something that you used to talk about a lot yourself, right? So somebody asked, okay, let me find it. Is it reasonable to just focus on making 1 to 5% per session? So per session that you trade, just 1 to 5% on your session.
It's very reasonable. Even 1% is a win. Like, think of it like this, right? Before Biden came into office and just fucking destroyed everything. Inflation was only 3% a year, So me and Rico knew that because that was like a part of our presentations. Like, guys, look, inflation is 3% a year. If you can grow your money even more than 3% a year, you're already beating the banks. Right now, everybody got to work a little harder with inflation being like 11% or whatever it is now. But back then, it was an easy pitch. Like, if you grow your account by 5% a year, you're winning. Okay. 1 to 5% a session. Yes, it's doable if you have a smaller account, like $1,000 or less. But for someone with like $100,000 account, 5% for them is $5,000 in a single night. So it depends on what level you want to play at, because the percentages, it could mean a lot depending on the size of the account. But if you have a small account, 1 to 5%, I think that's something I would do, and that's basically that. All I could do is provide commentary based on my experience and my opinions, but do not take anything I'm saying here as financial advice, because I don't know your situation. I don't have your portfolio in front of me. But what I will say is this: if I was starting off with a smaller account, 1 to 5%, that would be something I would do.
Bet. Now here's another one. Here's another question. This is actually a good question. He said, we're probably not going to like the question, but I don't see why we wouldn't like it. By the way, we're straying away from the brokers questions. We do a lot of videos and stuff like that about brokers, so there's no reason to ask Ness those questions because we can answer those on a regular video on a regular live stream, right? But someone asked pretty much last question. He said, "It's a good question." And it's funny because I actually just did a full live stream on this, on my take on it. But I want to get your take on it as well, because I know everybody's a little bit different than us, right? So the person asked, they said, last question, you may not like it, but why would you trade binary options if you can just run a tight stop loss on MT4 and make 10 times the amount of what you could with Pocket or any other binary options broker? So pretty much, why would you trade binaries and not MT4, MT5?
I love that question. That's actually a really good question. Thank you for asking that question. What I would say is this, right? I know the kind of person I am, and I value time so much. I really value time. So if I only want to be on the charts for 15 minutes, that's it. I'm done. With MT4 though, I have to sit around and wait for this thing to hit hit TP. Yeah, I can set it and forget it, but at the end of the day, I still have to manage. I mean, even right now with MT4 accounts, some of you may not know this, but I manage several prop firm accounts. All right. And they're all in the ranges of 500,000, 200,000, 100,000 on MT4. And guess what? These trades take a long freaking time, sometimes to get to where I wanted to get to at least, pull out manually, or for it to take profit. And it gets annoying, like, if I could get on this binary trade and I could be in and out of within 5 minutes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to maximize my 15 minutes, probably take like 10 binary trades. If I lose a couple, if I lose 3 and I win 7, bro, I'm good. Goodbye. I'm done. Let me go live my life. I like to live my life. I enjoy living my life. I do not like to monitor screens for more than a half hour, an hour. But there's everyone has a different approach, and I am really glad you asked that question. I trade both styles. Binary is preferred on me because I could get in and out of the market with the bag. But of course, there are some advantages with traditional Forex. Like, for example, different trading instruments you could trade on traditional Forex that you can't do on binary. So there's definitely pros and cons. But this is what I say, as a trader, check this out. If you trade binary options, essentially you can trade anything. Binary options are so hypersensitive that if you go on to trade stocks, you realize that the stock market moves a lot slower, which gives you a major advantage. It really does. In traditional Forex pairs, it gives you a major advantage as well if you're trading on MT4. So if you're trained on binary options, your entry prices on crypto, on stocks, on traditional Forex will be superior. If you are a beast with binary entries, you're going to be a beast, period. Even if you trade it, oh my God, listen, if you do binary options, you can also trade futures, which is based on time too. You could be a total beast, right? Like when you're trading binary, because it's a more hypersensitive market. We are winning based on the micro pip, not even the full pip on the exchange rates, but a micro pip.
Exactly.
So you have so much advantage in this. Listen, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's been 8 years since I started trading, and time flew by. I'm having fun doing it. I love doing what I do, and that's basically that.
Yep. And you know what it is too? Like, I've literally last week, by the way, was it Kyril the Thrill? I don't want to get your name wrong, but hopefully that's right. I did a whole live stream on my take on this, literally last week. So go check that out. It's on my page. It's in the live stream section. But it's very simple. I mean, like Ness said, for me as well, it's just time, right? And it's also, and I always tell people, it goes back to lifestyle. Like, you got to focus, like how Ness said in the beginning, when are you available to trade? How long are you looking to spend on the charts? Like, little things like this. What are you looking to get from it? And if you're the type of person that, taking a little bit of extra risk to be able to make money, make the money that you want to make a little bit quicker with more simplicity and a higher probability of you winning. If that doesn't appeal to you, then hey, MT4 and MT5 might be for you, right? I personally know how to trade both. I started with MT. I started with leverage. And I know Ness started with leverage too. And Ness does both right now. I personally, right now, I focus more on binaries. And it really just comes back to, like I said in the videos, it's very simple. I like the fast paced in and out. I get on real quick in the morning, right? Or at night, real quick, less than an hour. And I make all my profits and I get off the chart and I don't have to think about it ever again until I get back on the charts again. I don't have to be sitting on the toilet wondering if I'm blue or if I'm red, right? Taking my shower or driving, to wherever I'm going and doing that kind of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. MT5 has the leverage has some pros, and that's the risk to reward. That's the biggest pro on leverage, is that you can put a 1 to 5, your risk to reward, a 1 to 6 risk to reward, or whatever the case may be, right? But again, I personally can care less about that risk to reward. I don't want to hold the trade for a day, 2 days, an hour. And here's another big thing that people don't talk about, and this is the absolute truth. And we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up with this, is that when you're trading leverage, right, we talk about our money being capped at some point in life. Your money's capped based on how many hours you can work. Well, the truth is that in leverage trading, and this is the way that I look at it, it's the same exact way, your money is capped based off of how big or how far the market can move within that time. Because we know the market's always reversed. They always move up and down. This is why you have a stop loss in the first place, so that you don't get stopped out. So if you're looking at currency pairs, all currency pairs have an average that they move on a daily basis, whether that's 50 pips, 60 pips, some of them move 30 pips on a daily basis, right? Which means I can only assume to make 30 pips, right? I can assume to make 40 pips, 50 pips. And yes, if you have a bigger lot size, you can make a lot more. But again, that's the big question for a lot of people, especially when you're brand new, is do you have the money to put up and have that bigger lot size, right? So I can go on literally for days and for hours as to why I personally like binary options better. But again, it all goes back to that person, right? And what it is that you want to do, how it is that you want to trade. And the beautiful part is whether you know how to trade stocks, whether you trade leverage forex, whether you trade cryptocurrencies, whether you trade binaries, we're all trading in the same exact markets. We're using the same market structure, the same strategies, the same, reversal patterns and everything like that. So if you can trade one, you can trade the other. It's just that binaries is way simpler because we don't need big moves in the markets. Like I said, it's fractions of a pip. And we're correct, we make our money. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to close it up for tonight, man. I appreciate Ness, you being on with us. I know you didn't have to do this. And this was like kind of like I just texted you real quick. I was like, yo, I'm going to do a live stream. Can you hop on, on Thursday? But I think, we had a phenomenal job. We've done a phenomenal job. This is probably the longest live stream I've had on my YouTube. So hopefully everyone takes it in and enjoys it. Any wrapping up the episode, wrapping up the live stream, is there any advice that you can give to brand new aspiring traders coming in, all right, or even the people that's been trading for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but they're not seeing that result, right? They're not at where they want to be at just yet. With the amount of success that you're seeing in a short period of time, right? What's something that you can give before you go ahead and hop off?
Real quick, let me just give you the rundown. One strategy, one pair, millionaire. One strategy, one pair, millionaire. Learn one strategy. Stick to one currency pair, preferably the one that you win the most with, okay? Do your millionaire math, right? If $300 a day is $100,000 a year, then $3,000 a day is $1 million a year, right? If you can make $10 in a day, it's possible to make $30 in a day. It's possible to make $30 a day. You can eventually do 50 and then 100 a day. If it's possible to do 100 a day, you can eventually do 300 a day. That will lead you to 6 figures. If you can do 300 a day, eventually one day you'll be at $3,000 a day. That could lead you to 7 figures. So it's about persistency, right? Minimize risk, maximize gains. Buy as low as you possibly can buy. Sell as high as you could possibly sell. Stick to your strategy. Do your fundamental analysis. A good trader, basically does both fundamental and technical analysis, right? Mm-hmm. Where focus goes, energy flows. Stay focused. FOCUS. Follow one course until successful. And be tough. Don't be emotional. All right. Take your emotions out of the trade until you eventually trading like a robot, where if you take an L, it's like nothing. It's like a Scooby snack. You know what I'm saying? You keep it moving. Stay persistent and consistent. Mamba mentality, right? You got to really have your game face on, right? Everyone. Oh man, here's one thing I'm gonna say. I'm glad I could get in this final word. The energy in your home matters. The energy
Yes.
in your home matters. If your mind, right, is clouded, if your energy is disrupted, you're not going to perform well when it comes to trading. Trading, when you on the charts, is like art. Okay, when you're on the charts, it's like art. You need to be patient. You need to analyze deeply. You need to stick to the script, right? You need to make sure you dot your I's and you cross your T's. Okay, risk management, super important. The most important thing, even more than accuracy. If your risk management is tight, all right, you'll be all right. Okay. When it comes to scaling your account, growing your account, once you meet your goal for the day, close your laptop. Don't even think of it. Why? Because if you win, if you have your wins for the day and you want to risk your wins, well, you just risking your wins. You might just, you might just end the day with an L again, right? So run with the bag. Run with the bag. Extremely important, right? There's so much elements that you have to balance. So find your balance of everything. You're going to get your scrapes, you're going to get your bruises, you're going to get your blown accounts here and there. Find your balance and keep it moving. Most people end their trading journey by the third trade account blown. All right. I challenge you to go as hard as you can go. Every single L that you take is a lesson. A lady taught me this a long time ago. All right. And I'm going to tell you this. When you take a loss in the market, look at it like you just paid the market school tuition because you paid for that lesson. You paid for that lesson. If you would have won, right, you would have learned that lesson. Now you know what to avoid next time. So when you start to learn what to avoid, you'll eventually be left with the things to do, right? If you learn to avoid all these different minds in this field, all right, and you learn the path, right, you're gonna stick to that path, right, until you get to that millionaire math. And with that said, thank you so much for having me.
Let's go, guys. Hey, listen, again, let's light up the chat for my guy Ness. Just super grateful to have you on tonight's live. Let's run it up, do what you got to do. I know you got a life and a family to get to, man. So I'll see you soon. Let's get to what we're doing. And if you're on the YouTube right now, guys, this is your time right now. Make sure you like the video. Go ahead, subscribe. Check out Ness on social media. Check out myself on social media as well. Remember, both of our Instagrams are verified. All right. So don't get scammed. Don't get hit up by fake accounts or anything like that. We do not send out or give, signal alerts, nor are we going to be offering to flip your account from 500 to 5 million. All right. Overnight. All right. So always be mindful of that. But I appreciate everybody for getting on tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream, the longest one that we had on this channel, but we're going to continue to run it up. We'll get some more guests on to pour into you guys and to give you that value just like tonight. But this is the first one we did. And I think this one is definitely one for the books.
I'm glad to be number one.
Let's get it. One like always, baby. Have a blessed night. As always, it's your boy Rico, a.k.a. Rockstar Effects. I'm out. Woo. Peace.